The last thing I remembered before the dust hit my face was the sound of my own truck peeling off down the highway. I'd been squatting on the side of the road, hand on my knee, sweat dripping into my eyes while I checked the back passenger tire for some weird noise Travis swore he heard. The sun was brutal. Arizona in late July feels like opening an oven with your whole body. I leaned in, inspected every inch, even tapped the tread with my knuckles. Nothing. I stood up slow, wiped my palms on my jeans, and turned toward the window to tell him he was hearing ghosts. That's when the engine roared. The gravel cracked under the tires. I barely jumped back in time before he floored it and took off, dust and heat blasting my face like a slap. My own brother, in my own truck. And just like that, he was gone. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I stood there frozen, blinking against the sun, not believing what I just saw. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. I reached into my pocket for my phone. One flickering bar of signal. No clouds, no shade, no damn mercy. I climbed the short ditch back to the roadside and stared out both directions. Flat desert stretching out forever. Not a house, not a gas station, not even a billboard. I tried calling emergency. Nothing. Tried again. Then again. I must have hit the button 5 times before I finally gave up and dropped to sit on a rock. The air shimmered in the distance like it was taunting me. What the hell was he thinking? Why would Travis do that? We were coming back from a site consult that tanked, some HVAC job outside Tucson. He'd barely said a word the whole ride, just kept tapping the dash like he was impatient. Then, out of nowhere. "Hey, I think the tire's making a noise. Can you check it?" Calm as hell. No twitch in his voice, no tell. He played me. I wiped the sweat off my neck and stood. I had no food, no water, and no shade. I was 3 hours from home, with nothing but a dying phone and my brother's dirt trail fading behind me. I started walking west, boots crunching gravel, skin already burning, every mile a punch to the gut. I had no idea how far I'd make it, but I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't an accident. This was betrayal. And I was going to find out just how deep it went. Every step I took down that blistered road, I kept seeing that folder in my hands, the one I found at Dad's desk the week before. He'd left it half open, like he wanted me to see it. Tax files, forms, tuition receipts, pages stamped with Travis's name. Arizona State, full semesters, summer courses. Thousands of dollars, paid straight from their account. I stood there flipping through them, my stomach tightening. I thought maybe I was reading it wrong. But nope. Tuition, books, meal plan, the whole damn thing. Paid. Covered. Meanwhile, I'd put myself through HVAC school by working double shifts in Phoenix summers, when heat rose off the pavement like fire. I was 20, loading units in 110-degree weather, collapsing in the back of my truck between jobs because I couldn't afford rent. That Ford Ranger, the same one Travis just stole, I bought that with cash I scraped together over 2 years. Picked it up off a guy in Mesa who thought it wouldn't last another season. Fixed it up myself. Oil, brakes, radiator, the whole deal. Kept it running with duct tape and prayers. And Travis? He borrowed it any time he wanted. "Just for class," he'd say. "I need it for work," he'd claim. Which was rich, since he barely held a job for longer than a month. Every time I got mad, Dad would shrug. "It's just a truck." Mom would pile on. "Travis needs it more. You don't mind, do you?" That line haunted me. Travis needs it more. He needed everything more. School, camp, new shoes, birthday parties with bouncy houses. I remember wearing off-brand sneakers I duct-taped at the sole, while Travis got a fresh pair of Nikes every fall. Last week, I finally said no. We were in the living room. I'd just gotten off the phone with a guy from a Phoenix HVAC company. He said they had a full-time opening and wanted me to come in Monday. I told Mom and Dad I needed the truck for the interview. Dad sat on the recliner, didn't even look up from the news. "That's the family vehicle," he muttered. "Family?" I shot back. "I paid for it. I've maintained it for 6 years." Mom popped her head in from the kitchen. "Travis needs it for school. You'll figure something out." I laughed, out loud, couldn't help it. I did figure something out. That's why I'm taking the job in Phoenix. That night at dinner, I told them I was leaving. Said I'd be gone by the end of the week. Said I was selling the truck once I had the new company van. The table went dead quiet. Forks scraped plates, but nobody said a word. No congrats, No offer to help me pack. Just cold eyes and tighter mouths. Dad stared at his meatloaf like it held all the answers. Mom said nothing. She passed Travis the mashed potatoes like I hadn't even spoken. Travis looked down, playing with his fork like a child about to cry. I wanted someone to say, "We're proud of you." Instead, Dad stood up, grabbed his plate, and walked it to the sink. "Don't do anything stupid," he said. I should have seen it coming right then. He'd never let me leave on my own terms. I cleared my dish, grabbed my keys, and went out to the truck. Sat in the driver's seat with the window down, letting the night heat wrap around me like a punishment. My phone buzzed, Jackie asking how it went. I texted back. They didn't say a word. I don't remember when I started stumbling. The road shimmered so bad it looked like water. My tongue felt thick, and my skin burned under the Arizona sun. I'd been walking for miles, maybe hours. Time didn't mean much when the heat sucked everything out of you. My boots dragged, dust caked my jeans, and my head pounded like a drum. I kept thinking about that dinner table, the silence, the way nobody looked up. I'd told them I was leaving, and a week later, here I was, roasting in the desert because my brother decided to teach me a lesson. My legs gave out first. I caught myself with my hands, gravel cutting into my palms. My throat was too dry to even curse. I crawled to a patch of shade from a half-dead mesquite and slumped against it, panting. My phone was almost dead, 3% battery. I pressed the screen, praying for a signal. One flicker, one bar. I hit 911 and waited, the ring dragging like slow torture. "Pima County Dispatch," a woman's voice finally said. "Truck stolen," I rasped. "Brother left me. Mile marker 42. Heat stroke." Then the phone cut out. I don't remember blacking out, but when I came to, there was the sound of tires on gravel and a horn blaring. A sheriff's deputy in khaki leaned over me, blocking the sun. "You're one lucky bastard," he said, handing me a cold bottle. "Truck driver saw you collapse, said you waved him down, then dropped." I didn't remember that part. I just gulped water until it hurt. "Name's Wilson," he said, helping me to the cruiser. "You got ID?" "Yeah," I croaked, pulling my wallet out. "My brother, Travis Matthews, he took my truck." Wilson's brow tightened. "You saying he left you out here?" I nodded, still breathing like I'd run a marathon. He let out a low whistle. "That's not some prank, son. That's abandonment." Inside the cruiser, the AC hit my face like heaven. Wilson typed something on his laptop, eyes narrowing as he scrolled. "Well, look at that," he muttered. "Your brother's got 3 prior reckless driving charges, all paid off the same day." "By who?" He turned the screen so I could see. "Same cardholder name, your father." My stomach twisted. Wilson looked at me for a long second, jaw clenched. "You said they knew you two were out here?" "Yeah. They told me to take him along. Said he needed the experience." "Experience, huh?" he said. "Sounds like experience running people off the road." We drove to a rest stop where I plugged in my phone. As soon as it powered on, it buzzed with messages. Dozens of them, from the family group chat. At first I thought it was concern, then I started reading. "Mom, he's being stubborn about the truck. Teach him a lesson." "Dad, just keep the truck in the family. He'll come around." My hands shook. Wilson saw the look on my face and asked, "What is it?" I showed him the screen. His expression hardened. He read every line, slow and steady, then leaned back against the cruiser. "This ain't just abandonment," he said finally. "This is planned." He folded his arms, eyes sharp behind the sunglasses. "You ready to press charges?" I looked out at the endless stretch of highway where I'd nearly died and said, "Yeah, I am." The paperwork started that night, but real charges would take weeks to move. "I want my truck tonight," I said. Wilson didn't flinch. "Then let's go get it." Jackie was already waiting in her Civic, parked down the street with the headlights off. She didn't say much when I climbed in the passenger seat, just handed me a cold bottle of Gatorade and muttered, "I hope your parents are ready." We pulled into the driveway at 9:30 sharp. Porch light was on, curtains twitching. Wilson stepped out first, badge clipped to his belt, calm as ever. I followed behind him. My boots hit the concrete hard. The front door flew open. Mom came running out like she'd just heard I was dead, face scrunched, fake tears streaking her cheeks. "Oh my God, sweetheart, are you okay? We were so..." I stopped in my tracks. She reached for me. I stepped back. Wilson raised a hand. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step aside." Dad appeared behind her, arms crossed, jaw tight. He didn't say a word, just stared at me like I was the one who'd crossed a line. Behind him, Travis stood in the hallway, half hidden. His eyes darted between us like a kid who knew the principal was here for him. "Travis Matthews," Wilson called out, voice level. "I need a word." Travis stepped forward, slow, hands in the front pocket of his hoodie. "I didn't mean to." Wilson cut him off. "We have the texts, the ones about teaching your brother a lesson. You're looking at criminal charges, reckless endangerment, abandonment, possibly conspiracy, depending how far this thing goes." Mom gasped like she didn't know a damn thing. "That was just venting. You know how families talk?" "No," Wilson said, firm. "This wasn't just talk." I locked eyes with Travis. I saw the messages. His mouth opened like he had a whole speech prepared. I didn't care. "I'm taking my truck," I said, brushing past Mom and heading inside. Dad stepped forward. "Hold on, let's talk this out." "You're making a mistake." Wilson moved between us. "He's not discussing anything. He's collecting his property." Inside the house, everything looked exactly the same. Couch cushions in perfect corners, TV muted on the wall, family photos like props on a movie set. Only now, it felt like a stage for liars. I walked straight to my room, grabbed the duffel bag I kept packed under the bed, and started loading what was mine. Chargers, tool bag, spare work boots. Travis stood at the door like he wanted to cry. I thought you were leaving anyway." I didn't even turn around. "So that gave you the right to leave me in the desert?" "I didn't think it'd go that far," he mumbled. "No," I said. "You didn't think at all." When I walked back outside, Jackie had popped the trunk. Wilson stood with his arms folded while my dad argued with the wind. "You're breaking this family apart," Dad said. "I didn't break it," I said, tossing the duffel into the trunk. "You did. Every time you picked Travis over me, you cracked it wider." "Don't leave like this," Mom cried, still putting on the show. "I'm not leaving. I'm taking what's mine." I walked over to my truck. It was parked beside the house, dirt still crusted on the tires. I unlocked it, climbed in, and cranked the engine. It started like it always did, loud, gritty, stubborn as hell. Wilson gave me a nod. "I'll file the report in the morning. You did the right thing." Jackie pulled ahead, leading the way down the block. I didn't look back. I was back behind the counter at Clark's Hardware the next morning, wiping dust off shelves like nothing happened. Like I hadn't nearly died in the desert 2 nights ago. Like my family hadn't just turned me into the villain. But the town didn't forget. They never do. People came in with tight smiles and extra politeness. You could hear the whispering in aisle 4 every time someone thought I wasn't listening. Mr. Kelly, old man with a limp and a habit of leaning too close, stopped by the key machine and said, "Heard your brother's real torn up about what happened." I didn't look up. "Yeah?" He nodded, not picking up on the tone. "Said he feels real bad. Says it was a misunderstanding. Next time he wants to misunderstand someone, he should try a text, not grand theft." Mr. Kelly cleared his throat and shuffled off. 10 minutes later, I was pouring coffee for Mrs. Landers, who always acted like she ran the church but couldn't mind her own business to save her life. She gave me this pity smile. "Your poor mother called me crying last night. Said she just wants her boys back together." I handed her the coffee and said, "She should have thought about that before picking a favorite for 20 years. She blinked like she wasn't expecting pushback, then took her cup and left. By noon, I was stocking nails when I saw him. Dad. He came in dressed like it was Easter Sunday. Slacks, tucked-in shirt, that fake, "I'm just here to talk" look on his face. He walked right up to the register. "Can we speak privately?" I kept sorting boxes. "I'm working. My shift ends at 5. He waited, like that had moved me. "I just want to understand what's going on," he said, soft, rehearsed. "We're worried about you." I looked him square in the face. "What exactly are you trying to fix, Dad? Me, or your image around town?" He stiffened, jaw twitching, like I'd said something rude instead of true. Then the bell above the door rang again, and in walked Bella. She wore mascara like armor, but it was already streaking. Her bottom lip trembled. "Please just come home," she said, loud enough for half the store to hear. "I've been seeing a therapist. I'm doing the work. I swear." Folks stopped pretending not to listen. Martha, the store owner, peeked over from the back office. I looked around, then back at Bella. "Glad you're getting help," I said, But I can't come back. Her eyes watered more. Why not? Before I could answer, Dad stepped in. Let's just talk about the truck. It's still part of the family, right? I reached into my back pocket, pulled out the envelope I'd started keeping with me, and laid it on the counter. Receipts. Every oil change, every part I bought, every dollar I spent. Not 1 cent from you, I said. Not 1 penny from Mom. That truck is mine. Always was. He opened the flap and scanned the top few papers, eyes narrowing. He didn't say a word. Bella looked too. Her mouth fell open. Martha walked out front, arms crossed. I think that's enough for today. You two need to leave, now. They didn't argue. They just walked out, quiet, stunned, exposed. I got back to work. 2 weeks later, I pulled up to the house one last time. Wilson met me in the driveway. You good? I nodded. Just need to grab the rest of my stuff. In and out. He followed me inside, didn't say much, just stood near the door like backup. The place smelled like lemon cleaner and denial. Mom sat stiff on the couch, tissues bunched in both hands like stage props. I still don't understand why you're doing this, she sniffed. We're your family. You mean the same family that left me to rot on the side of the road? I said, heading straight to my old room. Dad leaned against the hallway wall like he'd been waiting to pounce. People make mistakes, but cutting us off? That's not the answer. You didn't make a mistake. You made a plan, I said, grabbing my second duffel from the closet. You knew exactly what you were doing. I tossed clothes in, grabbed a box of old tools, and started wrapping up cords when Travis showed up in the doorway. Arms folded, face twisted up like a kid who didn't get the toy he wanted. You gonna return my stuff from the truck? He snapped. I didn't even flinch. List them, with receipts. I'll wait. He didn't have anything to say to that. When I walked out the front door, I didn't look back. Back at Jackie's place, I posted the truck online. Used the same photos I'd taken when I first planned to sell it before all this blew up. Within 48 hours, a guy from Glendale paid in cash. Clean title, done deal. A few days later, I found a small one-bedroom apartment on the edge of Phoenix. Cheap, quiet, safe. I sent in my application and waited. That same night, my future landlord, Mr. Grayson, called. Got a weird call today, he said. Some man claiming to be your father tried warning me not to rent to you. Said you were unstable. My stomach dropped. You believed him? Grayson laughed. Son, I pulled your work history, your references, and your pay stubs. You're more reliable than his credit report. Another rope snapped. Then came the text from Mom. In the ER, please come, might not make it. I felt it for a second. That old reflex, that guilt. But then Cousin Sarah texted right after. Your mom's at the country club, playing bridge. Just saw her. More lies. Same old game. But this time, it didn't work. Word started spreading. At church, the pastor's wife pulled me aside, asked if it was true Travis left me in the desert. I told her yes. Her face went pale. At the fishing dock, Wilson told me he mentioned the texts to a few old-timers, Dad's fishing buddies. Didn't go over too well, he said. Ooh, even Judge Martin, guy who'd seen 3 generations of my family in court, caught me outside Sunday service and said, your story's more common than people admit. It's called control, and you were right to break it. I kept my head down, stayed out of it, let the truth do the work. The truck sold. The job offer in Phoenix came through. Then the court granted my restraining order. Clean break. Legally locked. I didn't celebrate. I didn't cry. I just stood in my empty apartment that night, phone off, doors locked, and let the silence wash over me. For the first time in my life, it didn't feel empty. It felt earned. The letter showed up in my mailbox like some ghost from a worse life. Handwritten, cream envelope. The kind people only send when they want to sound heartfelt. It was from Mrs. O'Connell, one of Mom's Bible study friends. Your father's health is failing. Just come for one dinner. He wants peace. We all do. I didn't respond. I called Dr. Winters instead. Hasn't been in since February, he told me. Last I checked, his blood pressure was textbook. So, it was a lie. Or a trap. Probably both. Jackie drove. We hit the old road into town at sunset, that same stretch of desert I nearly died on. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. As we pulled into my parents' driveway, I turned to her. If I don't come out in an hour, bring air horns and call Wilson. She smirked, but it faded quick. Don't let them pull you back in. I walked to the door slow, Every step felt like peeling off another layer of old skin. The house was dressed up like a fake holiday card, candles lit, soft piano music playing, table set with Mom's good dishes, the ones she only pulled out when someone from church came over. Dad sat at the head of the table, wearing a cardigan and an oxygen tube that wasn't even connected to a tank. Mom wore a church sweater like armor. Travis sat quiet, folded hands, hair cut fresh like he'd been told to look presentable. I didn't sit. Nice setup, I said. Planning a reunion photo? Mom blinked. We just want peace. I looked at Dad. So how's your condition? He cleared his throat, hand shaking just slightly. It's been a rough few months. Doctors are concerned. I checked, I said, reaching into my bag. Dr. Winters hasn't seen you since February. You're not sick. You're stalling. I opened the folder on the table. Bank statements, calendar entries, printed text messages, copies of tuition payments. I brought receipts, I said. Mom reached for one. What is all this? It's the paper trail. Years of it. Every time you lied, every time you helped cover up what Travis did. Every penny you said you didn't have for me, but somehow had for him. Dad's face hardened. Put that away. This isn't necessary. No, I said. What wasn't necessary was leaving me in the desert and pretending it was a misunderstanding. Travis finally spoke, voice low. I was jealous. You always had it together. I didn't think you'd break. I looked at him, dead in the eye. I'm not here for apologies. I'm here to say I'm done. I pulled the house key from my pocket and set it on the table. This was never home. Not really. And Thanksgiving, I said, stepping back. That'll be spent with people who respect boundaries. Mom stood up, voice cracking. Please don't do this. We're your family. Dad's tone dropped to ice. You'll regret this someday. No, I said. You will. I turned, walked to the door. Didn't hesitate, didn't look back. Jackie was still in the car, lights off, engine running. I climbed in, shut the door, and exhaled like I'd been holding it for 25 years. 6 months later, I was waking up to quiet. Real quiet, not that fake, tense silence I used to live in. Just sunlight through the blinds, coffee on the stove, and the steady hum of traffic 2 floors down. My apartment wasn't much, just a 1-bedroom off Van Buren with carpet older than I was and cabinets that stuck. But it was mine. Rent was paid, groceries in the fridge. I had a desk now, not a toolbox. I worked part-time at a small law office downtown, filing, organizing, shadowing the paralegal while knocking out classes at night. I liked the routine. I liked the stability. And I liked that no one in that building knew a damn thing about Travis or my parents. I'd changed my number, no forwarding, no social media under my name. Only a few people had my contact info. Jackie, Wilson, and the office. One Saturday afternoon, I found myself back near that stretch of desert without meaning to. I was heading to a job site to drop off documents, took a wrong turn, and ended up near mile marker 42. The same spot. Same sun. Same empty silence. I pulled over, got out. The heat still punched like it always had, but it didn't sting this time. I stood there for a few minutes, just breathing. I wasn't angry. I wasn't anything, really. Just steady. Back home, I'd started a support group. Small, word of mouth only, for guys like me. Men who'd been used, manipulated, broken down by people who were supposed to love them. Officer Wilson showed up the first night, brought pizza. Judge Martin came the week after, sat in the back, didn't say much, but stayed the whole time. Even Martha from Clark's came to my housewarming. We were all done pretending. Then one night, Bella called. Must have gotten my number through Jackie somehow. I let it ring. Then I picked up. She didn't yell this time. No drama, just a shaky voice saying, I wanted to say I'm proud of you, and I'm sorry. I listened, let her talk. Then I said, my boundaries stay. She didn't fight it. She just whispered, okay. I hung up, felt no guilt, no weight, just space. Their opinions don't define me anymore, and their silence doesn't scare me. Tuesday nights, I volunteered at a men's shelter just outside downtown. Small place. Nothing fancy, but it did something real. Guys came in carrying more than just backpacks. You could see it, on their faces and how they sat, how they spoke. Worn down, stripped. One kid, couldn't have been more than 22, reminded me of myself 10 years ago. Same hollow look, same too quiet voice. I just feel crazy. he said. I looked him dead in the eye. You're not crazy. You've just been surrounded by people who convinced you were. He nodded, but I knew he didn't believe it yet. Took me years to believe it myself. I kept my old folder on a shelf at home, still had every receipt, every text printout, every calendar screenshot. Not because I needed the proof anymore, because I wanted the reminder, not of the pain, of the fact that I wasn't wrong to ask for dignity. Jackie and I still talked weekly. She'd moved in with her fiancé, some guy from her gym who treated her like gold. I liked him. I'd be her best man next spring. Honestly, she told me last week, you saved my sanity. I told her the truth. You saved my life. Travis texted sometimes. Nothing wild. Just, hope you're doing well or thinking of you. I didn't block him, but I never texted back. The truck was long gone. I didn't miss it. I drove a silver Honda now, paid in full. Smooth ride, clean title, mine. Sometimes after work, I'd take the long way home, out toward the highway where everything broke open. Today I pulled over near that same mile marker, 42. Stood there a while, arms crossed, engine ticking behind me. The land didn't look like a prison anymore. It looked like a badge. I survived that. I got back in the car, turned the volume up, rolled the windows down. Wind in my face. No shame in my chest. I wasn't just moving on. I was building something better. Family isn't who raised you. Family's who respects you. And me? I finally respected myself. What would you have said to Travis if he texted you? Drop your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this one.